Hi, I am April, your self-discovery business strategist, and I believe that self-discovery is your best business strategy. So, right at the top, I have spent $20,000 on courses to either start or grow my business. Why? Because I invest in me and I will always bet on me. Now, did they work? Well, yes and no. But that is a loaded question. The better question is, did I get the results that the product promised me? Furthermore, did I work the program? Again, yes and no. I have purchased courses on growing specific kinds of businesses, business tactics, business systems, business strategies, sales systems, sales strategies, etc. And my mission in this conversation is to not talk so much about the investment, but to talk about how if I would have operated more out of power and strategy and not out of fear and lack, how I think it would have went, right? Because bottom line, I purchased the systems that promised they would teach me how to use my gifts and talents to make large sums of money per transaction, as opposed to nickel and diming and barely scraping, which meant a lot to me because I have 5 kids, right? And I have a husband and I have people that depend on me. So I can't nickel and dime. I just can't. So bottom line, I purchased systems that were promised they would teach me how to use my gifts and talents to make large sums of money per transaction, as opposed to nickel and diming and barely scraping the surface, which means a lot to me, right? Because I have 5 children and a husband and many people that depend on me. So more meaningful work that provides high value results for others that also allow me to make a decent living. That is how I chose the programs that I invested in, right? And that may be how you choose what programs or courses you'll invest in. However, what happened for me was not what I thought would happen. So at first I would get into the modules, and Learner is one of my top 5. So I was always excited about what I was learning, and these courses were great systems that supported my vision of helping others bring their ideas and dreams to life. So I joined the communities and I talked to all of the wonderful people. Then at some point after the foundational learning, it was time to go out into the world and present my offer or service or to share my ideas. And this is where I would disconnect. Then I would go to another program and same thing. Whenever it was time for me to be seen, I was no longer able to do it. This was a fear from childhood, right? There was some inner child work, self-acceptance, and recording myself and seeing myself and appreciating how I looked unique and all of that stuff that I just kind of jumped over and just did not do. Until I realized that this is what I was doing, that I was hiding. And the reason why I was hiding was because of childhood stuff, because of, just working through self-image issues and self-worth issues. And I knew I had them, but I thought like if I bought this program that it would be good. It'd be fine. It's fine. It's good. And this is why, right? It is a practice, right, to self-discover and to figure out what's really going on with you before you go spending money on things. And this was just one of the first things that I noticed. There were other things, but this was just one of the things that I noticed as I was going through these courses. Great information, great experts. I was just not being that great myself. But then I look back at some of the courses and thought I could make them a business, but got knee deep into it only to figure out that I had no interest and no passions in these things. And I knew that they could make me a lot of money and it could be fulfilling, but I had no interest in it. So I experienced 2 things. On one hand, I had courses and systems that would help me to grow the type of business that I wanted to grow, but I wasn't ready to do what was needed to be done. And then I had other courses that I just had no interest past the possibility to earn money fast. So what happened was I was caught in a cycle of buying shiny things that I wasn't mature enough to take advantage of. And yes, hiding is a sign of immaturity because it's a childhood response to an adult situation, thus immaturity. And I would also like to mention that some courses I purchased were not for me at that time, right? I was in the beginning stages of business, gathering information that may have helped me at a more elevated level of business. So even though it was good information, right, it was bad information at that time. So just to wrap up the focus on this conversation and really focus it on you, that was my experience. And my advice is to not invest in yourself, but stop buying courses if you're not going to work the system. If you're not going to go 110% and do exactly what they tell you to do, don't buy it. And that's just being real with yourself, right? And looking at what you have already purchased and really look at why this thing didn't work for you, right? And the next thing is just stop buying courses that you believe will get you to the bag quicker, but you have no interest in. That is also a waste of money because as soon as you hit a very hard spot in this journey of building this kind of business that you don't want to build anyway, you're going to stop. You're going to quit because it's not that important to you to overcome something that you don't want anyway, right? And so just save your money. Right? And then lastly, don't buy courses that you don't need right now in your business. There's no such thing as bad business advice per se, but there is a such thing as business advice that you cannot leverage right now because you are just not there yet. And I say all that to say self-discovery is your best business strategy, right? I suggest a coach. If not me, someone else that can help you to gather all of the pieces, your past, your present, future, visions, dreams, goals, strengths, your unique blueprint, right? All of those things that make you you, and design a plan going forward that makes sense for who you are, what you want, and who you want to help. And one that helps you to choose what makes sense to invest in right now and to support you through working whatever system you choose to invest in this time, right? Or even utilizing something that you already purchased that, a business that you wanted to build that you have resistance around, right? You just maybe need a coach to support you to, okay, here's where I stopped. This is where I did not believe in myself. And just having someone around to hold you accountable and to, again, help to support you through moving through that, right? And get into the bag, right? And first you got to be the bag to get to the bag. And being the bag is self-awareness, is knowing at this point, I stop. At this point is where I quit. Or I have been purchasing things that I don't want to do. I just felt like it could get me money right now. And I need to figure out what I really want, right? And, like for me, after realizing that I was hiding, I would talk to my coach about that particular thing. And it was helpful to get a push, right? It was helpful to get those reminders of why I was doing what I was doing and what needed to happen, right? And if a coach is out of your reach, create a personal manifesto. This is just a piece of paper with your values, passions, and strengths on it, why they're important to you, and some affirmations or declarations to live by. It's like a living document that you can always grab to remind yourself why you are doing what you are doing and why you're doing the way you are doing it, right? And my personal manifesto is more than a piece of paper. It's like a collage. It's like a book. It's like a binder, right? I have a binder, and I can help you make one of those if you want to. And I will be sharing that in the posts on here. You can go to my post and see. I'm just going to show you pictures of what it looks like if you're interested. And it's a little messy, but it's a collage. It's pieces and parts of things that I've collected. And again, it just serves as a reminder because we forget why. We forget our why sometimes, and we forget how dope we really are. And so just try that. Just try getting a piece of paper, writing those things down, and keeping that piece of paper somewhere. Take a picture of it, keep it on your phone, put it on a wall to just remind yourself why you're doing what you are doing, who you are doing it for, and a list of your values so that you can make sure that every day you're living in alignment with your values. And a lot of the times we know that we're not living in alignment with our values because we feel funky, right? We just feel funky. We feel out of it. We feel pushed into a corner. We feel exhausted. So get a list of your values and start learning to live within them. And at first it's going to be hard because if you have not been living according to your values, then you are going to have resistance against them. And we want to get to living according to our values so that we have, a value purposed life. So remember, don't chase the bag, be the bag. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. Bye.